What is the reinforcement theory of behavior? Well, reinforcement theory says that behavior is driven by the consequences that ensues from that behavior. Now, to demonstrate this diagram shows behavior divided into either desirable behavior or undesirable behavior. Desirable behavior can be reinforced through positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement. Undesirable behavior can be reinforced through extinction or punishment. Now, with that being said, let's look at each of these types of reinforcing behavior. First, positive reinforcement simply means adding some positive element. If you witness a certain type of behavior, that positive addition reinforces that behavior and encourages the repetition of it. Negative reinforcement is removing an existing positive element such that you see a type of behavior that's not adequate or you do not wish to continue. You remove some positive element there such that there's a missing piece, and thus the individual, in order not to lose those positive elements, discontinues the behavior. So this is negative reinforcement. Extinction is when you provide no enforcement at all. That is, when someone is carrying on some type of behavior that is generally seeking or associated with some type of reward or positive attribute, you simply extinguish it. You do not add any positive or any negative level of reinforcement there. So any reinforcement there is extinguished, and the individual stops doing the behavior because it does not receive the type of reaction expected. And then there's punishment, and that's introducing a negative consequence for a given type of behavior. Now, many of these studies focus on how you introduce these reinforcement factors. That is, with what regularity or the schedules of introduction. Continuous reinforcement means it's done continuously based upon the presence of the designated behavior. So it's not fixed to any particular time schedule. It's focused on when the behavior is present. Fixed ratio schedules means that you provide intervention after a certain amount of instances of a given behavior or after a certain amount of behavior is witnessed. Fixed interval schedules is based upon a time period. Ever so often you reinforce a particular type of behavior to make certain that there's still the association there with whatever reinforcement mechanism you're using and that behavior, so there's no loss of connection there between the two. And then variable ratio schedules, that's simply when you do it haphazardly or when you do it randomly as a sense of reinforcement. And any of these can be used in various scenarios depending on the nature of reinforcement and the type of behavior that you're seeking to reinforce. In the organizational environment and as part of management practice, you often see something called organizational behavioral modification. And these are steps that seek to modify organizational behavior through this reinforcement theory. So it's the systemic application of reinforcement in stages. That is, first you identify the behavior, next you set a baseline of measurement for the desired or undesirable behavior. You identify any antecedents that are the causes or motivations of the behavior, and then you identify what consequences result from the behavior. You implement the associated intervention, and that's generally the reinforcement mechanism that you're introducing, and then you measure to determine the extent to which your reinforcement measure has affected that given behavior and the output or outcome from it. So this is the implementation, once again, of reinforcement theory within the organization, known as behavioral modification. So this is, in a nutshell, what is reinforcement theory and how it's used in management and organizational behavior.